looked out of the window. They were in a large, empty-looking station with many platforms. He caught sight of a bookstall some way up the platform, with a placard, Derby Result. Luke opened the door, jumped out, and ran towards the bookstall. A moment later, he was staring with a broad grin at a few smudged lines in the stop press. Derby Result. Jujube II, Mazeppa, Clarigold. Luke grinned broadly. £100 to blue. Good old Jujube II, so scornfully dismissed by all the tipsters. He folded the paper, still grinning to himself, and turned back to face emptiness. In the excitement of Jujube II's victory, his train had slipped out of the station unnoticed by him. "When the devil did that train go out?" he demanded of a gloomy-looking porter. The latter replied, "What train? There hasn't been no train since the 3:14. "There was a train here just now. I got out of it, the Boat Express." The porter replied austerely, "The Boat Express don't stop anywhere till London." "But it did," Luke assured him. "I got out of it." "No stop anywhere till London," repeated the porter immovably. "It stopped at this very platform and I got out of it, I tell you." Faced by facts, the porter changed his ground. "You didn't ought to have done," he said reproachfully. "It don't stop here." "But it did." "That was signal, that was. Signal against it. It didn't what you'd call stop." "I'm not so good at these fine distinctions as you are," said Luke. "The point is, what do I do next?" The porter, a man of slow ideas, repeated reproachfully, "You didn't ought to have got out." "We'll admit that," said Luke. "The wrong is done, past all recall. Weep, we never so bitterly we can never bring back the dead past, quoth the raven nevermore. The moving finger writes, and having writ, moves on, etc., etc., and so on and so forth. What I'm trying to get at is, what do you, a man experienced in the service of the railway company, advise me to do now?" "You're asking what you'd better do?" "That," said Luke, "is the idea. There are, I presume, trains that stop, really officially stop here?" "Reckon," said the porter. "You'd best go on by the 4:25. "If the 4:25 goes to London," said Luke, "the 4:25 is the train for me." Reassured on that point, Luke strolled up and down the platform. A large board informed him that he was at Fenny Clayton Junction for Wychwood under Ash, and presently a train consisting of one carriage pushed backwards by an antiquated little engine came slowly puffing in and deposited itself in a modest bay. 6 or 7 people alighted and, crossing over a bridge, came to join Luke on his platform. The gloomy porter suddenly awoke to life and began pushing about a large truck of crates and baskets. Another porter joined him and began to rattle milk cans. Fenny Clayton awoke to life. At last, with immense importance, the London train came in. The third-class carriages were crowded, and of firsts there were only 3, and each one contained a traveller or travellers. Luke scrutinised each compartment. The first, a smoker, contained a gentleman of military aspect smoking a cigar. Luke felt he had had enough of Anglo-Indian colonels today. He passed on to the next one, which contained a tired-looking, genteel young woman, possibly a nursery governess, and an active-looking small boy of about 3. Luke passed on quickly. The next door was open, and the carriage contained one passenger, an elderly lady. She reminded Luke slightly of one of his aunts, his Aunt Mildred, who had courageously allowed him to keep a grass snake when he was 10 years old. Aunt Mildred had been decidedly a good aunt, as aunts go. Luke entered the carriage and sat down. After some 5 minutes of intense activity on the part of milk vans, luggage trucks, and other excitements, the train moved slowly out of the station. Luke unfolded